support your Hobbit hobby.
Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another great British Hobbit League video. As always, you're here with James
and Jamie, and today we're going to be looking at the changes from the Hobbit, from the Lord of the Rings to the Hobbit, and we're going to be looking at the new heroic moves and actions.
Now this is a series of videos which you might have already seen some of our coverage on brutal power attacks, on the different weapon strikes, and even some of the changes to shooting. But as Jamie mentioned, today we are going to be looking at some of the heroic actions. Now there were heroic actions before, which were the ones that existed before the Hobbit rules.
You had 3 heroic actions possible. There was a heroic move in the movement phase, heroic shoot in the shooting phase, and a heroic combat or fight in the fight phase. Yeah. If you don't know what they are, the heroic move allowed you to move out of sequence, so you would say if you lost priority, you could heroic move and then you would move first. Heroic shoot, again, would allow you to shoot first, and heroic fight meant that that hero combat would be the first combat you do, but you'd also get the chance to move on if you successfully killed all models in that fight.
Now I guess the issue with there only being one per phase is that they are going to be the only ones that you call.
That's the only thing that you need your might for, besides altering dice rolls.
Now out of those 3, the 2 I think that you're most likely to come across are the first.
Yeah.
So heroic moving, very important for a cavalry player, for example, to make sure that you're getting the charge off and you're not getting counter charged, but also important in other situations as well.
Getting into combat first or backing out of combat if you don't think you can.
Making sure you're not getting surrounded, making sure that you're engaging models that...
Making sure you cast your magic before you get charged. They're the kind of things you want for a heroic move.
So very useful, and even in the Hobbit rules, it's still incredibly useful, and you see it a lot, And then the one in the fight phase is the heroic combat, which again, you still see a lot, especially from experienced players, because they tend to be able to do this a little bit better.
It's always sort of like knowing when to call the heroic combat and making sure you don't leave yourself open to heroic combat. So heroic combats were typically used for, you jump on some knights and a hero onto a model, and then use their movement to jump onto a weak hero and hopefully kill them off in one turn or do a massive amount of damage.
Now a really good example of this is if you check out our battle reports, you'll see a 350 point battle report between Steve, who brought an Arnor force, against me, and I brought a Rohan force. Not my all cavalry force, but a Rohan force. Now in that battle, I changed my tactics partway through because there was an opportunity to heroic combat, which effectively means that you're then getting that additional movement once you get the kill. So very good to do if you're guaranteed to kill the model. And then I used some of the Sons of Ale to tie up models so that I could get into the combat with Arathorn, hoping that my 2 Rohan heroes would kill him. I won't tell you what happened, okay, but make sure you watch that video to see a heroic combat in action. So now we've got 3 new ones.
And we've got 4.
Got 4 new ones, sorry, we've got 4.
We've got 2 new ones in the movement phase. These are a heroic march and a heroic channel. In the shoot phase you've got heroic accuracy, and in the fight phase you've got heroic strike. But we'll start with this, we'll do the turn sequence.
Yes, that makes sense.
So, the heroic march costs you a point of might. You've got every model within 6 inches of the hero calling it get to add +3 movements, 3 inches movement if they're on foot, and +5 inch movement if they are mounted.
Now there are lots of situations where this is really useful.
Yeah.
Really, really useful.
Now you want to use this if you want to get into the fight much quicker, or you need to, again, escape and get to an objective at the end of the game. Now something you have to remember is just like a heroic move, the hero moves first in the march, and everyone has to finish within 6 inches of him.
Yeah.
Now this rule is very similar to that of the Orc Drummer, but the Orc Drummer happens after all heroic actions have been completed, and you get the same additions, +3 and +5, but you don't have to finish within 6 inches of the drummer, which is always nice. The second new heroic action in the movement phase is Heroic Channel. Now we're doing a video on all these new spells and what the most notable changes are, but basically they allow you to use a powered up version of a spell. There's been quite a big overhaul to magic, so be sure to watch that video to find out just exactly what Heroic Channel sort of entails. Do you want to do heroic accuracy? Do you know heroic accuracy?
I think I do know heroic accuracy. Heroic accuracy allows your hero, when he calls heroic accuracy at the start of the shooting turn, to re-roll failed in the ways.
That's correct. Yeah.
Woohoo!
He's learning.
and he can also allow warriors who are within 6 inches of him to do the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there are quite a few situations where this might be really, really handy. You're trying to snipe enemy heroes, or you're against an enemy who's dug in, they're behind walls, they're in a fortification.
Yeah, so they've got their flag up in the way, and you really do need to just try and get them out of there. That's why it's sort of useful to do. And then the biggest probably change, the newest heroic action is Heroic Strike, and this happens in the fight phase. You call it at the very start of the turn, but it probably has the biggest change on the game. With Heroic Strike, you get to increase your fight value by d6, so the roll of a dice.
Which is awesome!
Which can take the most minor hero up to fight 10 and do something incredible.
Yeah, and it is exciting.
It is. You're just like, come on, 6!
It means that everybody has got a chance, you know. It means heroes have got a better chance against high fight monsters,
yes,
which is really, really key. It's going to give you those opportunities against the high fight models like, you know, elven heroes and stuff like that. And I mean, it's great for me as a Rohan player because my favourite hero is Aemon Knight of the Pelennor, and his one big downfall is
being fight 5 rather than 6.
Being fight 5, but call Heroic Strike. Maybe call Heroic Strike with a supporting hero, and all of a sudden you've got a chance to win those fights, which is fantastic.
Now, this is the one that's had the most like controversy around it, because in the grand scheme of things, you don't feel that the Goblin captains should be able to be fight 9 and fighting, you know, sort of Gil-galad and on the same level. And the general consensus is people would like to see this one reduce in its strength a little bit, but it's not probably going to be. So deal with it.
I really like it.
You've got to get used to it.
I really like it because I think Lord of the Rings is about those key moments and duels.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't see it that often. And what you'll tend to see, and I think all of you will agree and you'll agree, is that if someone calls a Heroic Strike at the start of the combat phase, they will counter it if they've got the might. So, you know, even your higher fight hero, yes, he's having to use a point of might to deal with that.
But he's got more reliability of reaching that fight 10.
Yeah. So he's still got more chance of winning the fight.
Yeah.
If he's got that might, and it means that you're going to see a lot of people keeping hold of, you know,
there's 1 or 2 extra points of might. People like Aragorn really benefit from this because he can do it every turn without fail and really grind down your might stores.
Yeah. So that's Heroic Strikes. There are 3 new heroic actions, 4 including channeling, which you will see in our video about the changes to Magic with the Hobbit strategy battle game rules. We do recommend that you give all of these a go, have a good play test with them, and keep an eye out on our battle reports for those moments where you see heroic move, where you see heroic accuracy. I'm just trying to think of a heroic accuracy game.
Don't have one yet.
No.
The heroic actions in the shoot phase always tend to be the ones that you don't really need because you never feel it's going to make that much of an impact.
The only time I've seen these being used, the shooting ones, is with 3 points of might.
Yes.
So Aragorn, if Aragorn's with people, I have seen heroic accuracy and heroic shoot being called before, but only using a 3 point of might. I think a lot of people are in agreement that a point of might is quite expensive
in the entire game to spend on the shoot phase.
Yeah, if you've got a limited supply.
Yeah.
So make sure you give them a go, check out the battle reports to see when these are being used, and if you've got any questions at all about them and you want our help because you've not played them before, comment below, Continue to support your Hobbit hobby, and thanks for watching to the end. Happy strategy battle gaming, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.